Good morning, I'm Elle. I'm the Keystone Stitcher. I haven't said that in a long time, have I? How are you doing today? Today is February 1st, 2024. I got the year right. And this is my update from the last 2 weeks. I have 5 projects to show you with varying degrees of progress. I've got some stuff I've kitted up I thought I would show you. And some things I was planning on that I think I've decided not to do, but maybe you'll be interested, so I'll tell you about it. And yeah, before we get into the cross stitch, I have to say, I don't know if my phone will pick it up, but if you hear any rumbling in the background or whatever you want to call it, there's been some construction being done on my building. I live in a high rise, and it was supposed to be done yesterday, but if you have experience with construction, you know that it oftentimes is not done when they say it will be done. So it's very quiet and faint for me. I don't know if the phone will pick it up, but if it does, I'm sorry. This goes on all day until it's done, so there's no other time for me to record. So let's get into the stitching, shall we? Okay, let's start with the little things. This first one is The Old Sled. The artwork is by Elizabeth Spurlock. This is what it will look like. This is from the December 2023 Just Cross Stitch magazine. And here we are now. And so I've just been working on the sled. I had this one color in on that slat, and I've added the rest of the slats in that color, or the rest of that color in the slats. And then I brought in another color and started it. And I'll put a picture here of where it was last time. So this one I just picked up for one day, and it was fun picking that up. I like seeing that come together. I'm having fun with that one. Okay, so that was first. The other project that I picked up was A Promise of Tomorrow, and it will look like this. And A Promise of Tomorrow, now I don't have any numbers for the magazine piece, but everything else that I have in Pattern Keeper, I can tell you kind of where it's at. So A Promise of Tomorrow is at 21.17%. This is a piece that I have selected to put an additional 24% in for 2024, which means I need by the end of the year to have this at 41.64%. The artwork is by Shawna Erbeck, and it's charted by Thread Geeks. So I've just been picking colors over here and working my way across to the center. And that's what that's looking like. So let me pull back here, and I will put a picture right above of where it was. So you can see a lot more has been filled in this area. So yeah, there's that. Now the next one is a piece that I work on every single day. I put 200 stitches in. I put probably a little over that. So I either when I highlight a block, a 10 by 10 block in Pattern Keeper to say I finished all those stitches, if I've hit 200 stitches at some point I can quit. Sometimes I will finish the thread on my needle. I think my range of stitches has gone between 203 to 272. And that is Beetle Pop. This is by LuxNovaStudios. It's charted by UnconventionalXStitch or UnconventionalXStitch. And we pull back and show you the whole thing. So that's where it is. I've outlined everything. And now I'm just filling in. So what I worked on this time is I brought more of her hair down. I added this little section here of her skin tone. I added all the little missing stitches along her hairline, the area around the outside of her eyebrow, filled in anything missing around her eye, and then I came over here and started working on her nose. So let me see. I think I put it next to it and show you what it looked like last time. So this is, I've got notes here. Let me look at this one. So this one is currently at 30.52%, and I'm stitching this on 18 count aida that I dyed myself. I should say this is I think the only fabric I currently have that is not a Zweigart. It is by DesignWorks, and I don't think I can get a close-up of it. I don't think my camera will focus on it, but there are areas where the threads are broke. So, all right, let me see if I can explain this. So with Aida, you have 4 strands and 4 strands, and they're woven together. And 1 or 2 of those 4 strands are broken, meaning that for the next little area, the threads, your square is going to be smaller. So almost like it's uneven, and so I have to watch the tension. I found it in several places along the fabric as I started stitching on. I didn't think to check it beforehand. So I wouldn't recommend DesignWorks Aida unless this is just a fluke that it happened to me on this piece. But yeah, I'm real happy with her. So I will continue. I should say I'm going to kind of go through the plans as I'm showing you the whips, just because otherwise I got to pull it back out. With this one, I've realized that there is a lot of skin tone. So we have all of this plus her hand that I'm going to work on a lot of the skin tone, and then when I'm tired of it, do a little bit of her hair. Because I can actually work more on her skin tone on this than on most pieces. Because I'm only doing roughly 200 stitches. So it's not like I'm working for days on just 1 or 2 colors. So I want to I'm still working, even though I'm jumping around, I'm working top to bottom. So that's kind of where you'll see that. Next time you'll probably see a lot more in this area and through here being done. I do want to finish her nose because if you can see, there's still a lot of missing stitches in there along her nose. So that's Beetle Pop. That gets worked on, like I say, every single day. My next one is Strength. And I was stitching on this, God, for football. Now football season's over, so we're going to talk about that. So where did I work? Well, all right, let's see if I can do this. I don't know if I can reach this. All right, there's a little few stitches right in here, and then everything down here. So all of this, and all of this, and then this section here, and you can see I ended it right there. So that's what I worked on this time. And you see, that's the bottom. And there, I'm going to have to put a picture in of this whole piece. But before I do that, let me talk about, okay, I'm going to put in a picture of where it was last time and where it is now, so you can see the area that I worked on. And now this is on an 18 count. This is a very light pewter by Zweigart. I am currently at 25.41%, and this piece I have added to my 24% in 2024, which means this piece by the end of the year needs to reach 46.82%. Now, football stitching. My goal in September when football season started, I wanted to stitch to keep my hands busy. As you can see, I'm always using my hands. And I pulled this out because I was working in a section of black along that top row. And I thought, okay, yeah, I'll just fill this in. And after a couple weeks of pulling that out and figuring that, yeah, this is what I want to work on while I watch a football game, I decided to figure out just how much can I do if I stitch on one piece during football season. So here's a picture of where it was when football season started, and here's where it is today. Now, there's a little bit that I've added on her headscarf, but other than that, all that I did during football games was black. I didn't work on her in any other way. During football season, okay, this design has just over 55,000 stitches of black, which isn't too bad considering the size. When football season started, I still had 41,000 stitches left, just over. I now have 13,514 stitches of black left, which means from October, because that's when I started counting, was October 1st. From October 1st through the end of January, when the last playoff game was played, I completed 27,486 stitches. So yeah, I think from now on, during football season, I need to pick a piece that has easy block stitching, if I have one, and really just fill it in and see how much I can get done, because that's a decent amount to finish. And you figure that would be, so it's roughly 2,000 stitches. So I did well over 12% just while watching TV. So that's where that is. So now next time you see this, yes, there's the Super Bowl this month, and there's Pro Bowl, whatever they're calling that stuff. Oops, sorry, I bumped you. But I'm not going to work on that. I don't know what I'm going to do for the Super Bowl. I might work on it, but I might not. I might go out. So I'm just saying I'm done with my personal challenge of seeing how much I can complete. So now we're on to my focus piece. And my focus piece right now, I'm working on Monday through Friday, every week until it's done. I started this the very end of November, and I touched it a couple of times in December. Once or twice. I can't remember how many times it came up on Flossmas. And now, starting in January, I decided to just knock it out. So instead of this being a Christmas present for my grandson, this will be an Easter present. He knows about this. He's asked for it. And this is Pokemon. And so this is what it's supposed to look like. I'm stitching this on an 18 count fabric that I dyed myself. Kind of the most out there dye job I've done so far. And here we are. So here's Pokemon. And so when you last saw it, I had just finished the entire word Pokemon, and that's huge. That I think there was somewhere between 11 and 12,000 stitches in that. And then I had started this Pokeball, but I didn't have it finished. So since the 15th of January, I finished that Pokeball, started to finish this one. I've finished 6 characters and started a 7th. So I'm going to bring them in closer so you can see each one. This is Abra, Blastoise. By the way, I should tell you that my grandson is trying very desperately to teach me all the different Pokemon names, but it's very likely I might mispronounce one. If I do, don't worry about it. Just go ahead and laugh at me, whatever. But so that's Blastoise, Charizard. He was a lot of fun. Dugtrio. Trying to see what you're seeing. There's Eevee. Okay, and then we've got Pharaoh. That, I worked on those browns. I was done with those browns. And then Gengar. So I was real happy to be doing a color other than brown. So plans for, oh, I should tell you where it was before. Well, because I'm trying to finish this by Easter, so in 3 months, this has 67,000 stitches. Let me show you where it was January 1st and then where it was January 15th. So you can see what a month's progress will look like. And then, let's see. Yeah, I'll put that over my face and then I'll put the progress here. So you can see I've completed 6 characters. My goal for this one now, I have 39,000 stitches left, which means I need to do roughly 20% or 20,000 stitches a month. I did 25,000, I think, this month. Let me see my card. Yeah, I did 25,000 this month, and I'm up to 42.65%. So I would like to, like I said, I need to do 20% by the end of the month at least, but I would like to reach the letter. Here, let me put this down and I will put a larger version of what it will look like so you can see as I talk. I would like to get to either letter M or N by the time I see you on the 15th. And then by the 1st of March, have everything through, say, letter S done. That would give me 12 completions, 12 characters completed for the month. And since I did 6 completely in the last 2 weeks, I think that is something I can feasibly do. Now, each of the characters is a different size, or it's not a consistent stitch count, so I'm not sure. But if I can get 12 done this month, that will only leave me 7 to do in March, giving me plenty of time to finish it up and get it stretched and framed to gift it to him for Easter. So that's kind of what I'm doing there. So as you can see, I will work on Pokemon, I will work on Beetle Pop, and then on the weekends, it's whatever I feel like working on. Now, Colette, the Highway Stitcher, is doing a full coverage February, and she's also doing a cross stick, which is the word confetti. You can check her out. I think all the details are over on Instagram. And I think she's the Highway Stitcher on Instagram as well as Flosstube. And I thought about using the word confetti and picking full coverage pieces to work on the weekends. And so I started playing around with that and what did I have that might fit those letters. And in the end, I realized that I wasn't going to go through with that and do that because I'm so fixated on this one piece that I want to leave my weekends free to be spontaneous. But if you're interested in doing full coverage February with Colette, like I say, go to Instagram, check her out, and and see how that works for you. And like I said, you can do the full coverage. You can just do, I think some people are just using the acrostic to help them choose their projects for this month. But I wanted to let you know that's out there. Now I'm going to put this all away, and I've got a pile of things that I've kitted up that I wanted to share with you. So I will be right back. I'm back. Okay, there was just too much. I didn't want everything falling. Okay, so one day here it's January. I'm going through and I'm still purging things. Even though I purged a lot when I moved, I'm still kind of organizing and purging. And anyway, I have a drawer in a dresser where I keep all my cross-stitch stuff. So some people have rooms, I have a drawer. And in there I had a few projects where I used to kit up everything instead of using a master set. And so I had projects that I'd finished that used to be kitted up, and I had all the floss in a bag. And these, I had like 3 or 4 bags in there. And it was time to just organize that, get those out, put them in. So I have a master set, and then I have another case, those double-sided cases, where I have a secondary master set. And it's almost complete, just not quite. I think I have somewhere in the range of 75 to 100 flosses I still need to have that a complete set. But then I have overflow. So after years of kitting up everything and working on multiple projects at the same time, I ended up with a whole mass of floss. Now I got rid of quite a bit of it. I gave it away as gifts or as giveaways. But now that I've unkitted a few things that I've finished, or a couple that I've decided not to finish, I now had another mess. So what I did is I picked 5 projects that I would love to start, not anytime soon, and I found fabric that worked for them, and then I went through all that floss. So I put my charts in Pattern Keeper, went through the list. If it used a floss that I had in that mess of excess floss, it went in a bag. So most of my projects are in these bags, and you can see it's full of floss. Now, by the time I finish things, everything will be in those bags. But currently, I have 2 projects that are in plastic because I don't have enough of these to work. So you can see, here's one. This is, well, we'll get into that. So what did I kit up? The first one that I kitted up is the Fisherman. This is by Nimue. And I have loved him for a very, very long time. But this tannish, brownish background is not me. So Nimue or the fisherman is on, it is 66 by 93. So should I decide that I need a new start, which at this point, I'm thrilled to be finishing things, and I have such a wide variety of things that I've started, I don't feel the need to start anything. But should I want to start something, this would be perfect because it's small. And I'm going to put him on this piece of Picture This Plus. What is this one? No, this is not Picture This Plus. This is a piece of teal that I dyed myself. So I think he will really pop on that, and that will go better in my home. So he's now kitted up, and he has his own little envelope. The next one that I kitted up, sorry, let me keep all my notes here. So I have in every bag, I put a tag with the name of the chart and the artist. And then inside, I have an index card where I keep all the details. So for example, this one I have the name, so this is by Thread Geeks. I cannot say the artist name. I will put it on the screen in a moment. And I put the start date, the finish date, and the fabric. So this is Brothers. And I've decided, sorry, the fabric that did not work for me for Feasting Frenzy would be perfect for Brothers. I'm not going to stitch all this white. Now, the artist cannot pronounce the name. I will put it on the screen, and hopefully I can get the letters right. This design is 198 by 270. I'm not going to stitch all that background of white, but I think, now I still have to pull out the stitches from Feeding Frenzy, but I think that this would be a really good background for that piece instead of all that white. So this design, did I say this is 198 by 270? So, and then by eliminating all that white, it shouldn't take long to stitch. So that one, now this Picture This Plus, this is an 18 count. Okay, the next one that I have is Empire of the Sun. This is by Adrian Danute Borda. I think everybody just calls him Adrian Borda. He's best known for these big-eyed girls. And I think those are beautiful. I love each and every one. I love watching everybody stitch these. But I don't like to stitch what everybody else is. And at the same time, that I just don't feel that any of those girls really work in my home. So I'm stitching instead Empire of the Sun 3. This is by the same artist. This design is 300 by 200, and I literally just picked up this 18 count that you can see I've actually started to grid it because it was for another project. And so yeah, it's partially gridded, the bottom isn't. So I will use this for Empire of the Sun 3. And my next one is by Artisy. I'm trying to mix up the companies. And I'm putting this on a 20 count. This is 9 p.m. This has always been my favorite piece by Carla Gerard, the artist. But at the time, this was not charted. I had reached out to Artisy and asked them if they could chart it. And they sent me the link where they get their charts through licensing, because they license anything that they have by an actual artist is licensed. And this was not, they showed me this was not available to be charted. In the meantime, this did come up and they were able to get it. So when it was available, they charted it. And so I grabbed it. So this is 9 p.m. The artwork is by Carla Gerard, charted by Artisy. I'm putting this on a 20 count Aida, and this is a kind of a creamy, it's an off-white, it's not real white. So I'm not sure if this is antique white or ivory. Aida. Okay, I got Aida on my mind. This design is 239 by 300. So again, not too huge. My next one, let me put these over here. My next one is my newest chart that I've purchased. And this is Eyes of the Forest. I got this from mybobbin.com, and the artwork is by Ina Badenko. The design is 210 by 300. And I have this piece of, I believe it's 18 count, that I bought to do something else. And then when I got it, it didn't look anything like it looked on my screen. And it's actually looking blue, but it's not blue. It's actually green. And I don't know how to get it. But yeah, this is a green. Yeah, it's just not going to show. I don't know if I have anything that will pop that green out. If I put the ivory next to it, no, still isn't. Sorry, guys. This is more green. And I thought I was buying blue. But because Eyes of the Forest is a full coverage, this will mostly be, will be. Eyes of the Forest is really cool. This is going to be my first blended thread full coverage piece. We'll see how I do with that. How I handled my, let me see if I have one here. Hold on, zipper time. When I do a blended piece, and I don't have an empty bobbin here, but what I do is I take a bobbin and I draw a line through the middle, and then because I don't actually measure my floss and pre-cut it, so I kind of go, yep, that's good. And it pretty much comes out to about the same size. I've been doing this for so many years that I kind of know. But I'll end up with a piece, if I'm trying to blend them, half an inch or something like that. So what I do is I will cut a 6-inch length of one color. Then I will use that to measure out the next. And then I will put a line through the middle here with usually a permanent marker. These are cardboard that I use for these. And then I will write the number of the one color up here and wrap that here. And then the number of the other color down here and wrap it there. That way, when I'm done, I can easily put this on back in my master set without going, okay, which color is which. So that's how I handle my blended threads when I'm working on them. So that design, if I didn't say, is 210 by 303 stitches. And that is what I kitted up. So, like I said, I don't think any of these will be started anytime soon. I really just want to finish. I've got plans for probably the next 2 years of which pieces I'm going to finish in what order. Well, for most part. I know I have 5 pieces to finish this year. And I know probably the first 2. What order I do the rest, I don't know. But then when those 5 are finished, I know what the next 2 will be as I finish them. I'm thinking I'd like to finish 2. For every 2 that I finish, it'd be nice to start 1. I currently have 14 projects, and so that would bring me down. If I finish 5, or do I have 5? I don't know. I have 9 or 10 by the end of the year. And so if I'm only adding 1 for every 2, that's going to keep my numbers pretty low and allow me to finish more. And the more I finish, the more I can start. But the longer it takes me to finish these pieces without making them a focus piece, the longer it will take before I can bring in a new piece. So that's my thinking. That's how I was organizing and putting away. So now all of the floss is now either in my double-sided cases or in one of these projects, or I also have in my current whips. So if in my current projects I have something that needs more than a couple hundred stitches and I had that as an excess floss, I threw it in that project bag. And now when I run out and I'm working on that project, I know I can just use that project bag to replenish my stock. Okay, I've rambled on quite a bit. I hope you guys are having a great month. It's, I almost want to say enjoy spring because it looks like winter is pretty much over. I think we had, a week or so in December. We had a couple weeks in January, and now it looks like we're going into spring. But if you're having winter, enjoy your winter. I don't know. I'm not one who enjoys winter. I think before I see you again, we will, at least here in the U.S., we will celebrate Valentine's Day. So if you celebrate Valentine's Day, have fun, do something out of the ordinary. And with that, happy stitching, and I will see you on the 15th. Bye.